I'm sure those cramps felt so good.
Johnson goes to deny. Step back. Big play.
It's got you here.
Jones doesn't go. The tip by Broom. Up ahead, Harper.
Hello and welcome to this episode of War Eagle Weekly. How we doing, Josh?
I'm doing pretty damn good considering the fact that we're sitting at 7-0. I love it.
Man, you gotta love it. Absolutely fantastic. I saw that you absolutely were cracking up during my intro. I was hoping that you would find that to be funny because that was definitely my intentions. But dude, this Maui Invitational was filled with such a great amount of fun, and we had a fantastic amount of Auburn fans show up in Maui for this tournament. And
Auburn travels well.
Not let them down. The team did not let them down, Josh.
No, they did not. I mean, when guys weren't, feeling it, we had other guys on the team stepping up and making big plays. I mean, everybody filled their role to perfection for the most part, and we came out victorious. Maui Chance, first time ever, third SEC team to ever win the Maui Invitational, and it just feels good. Feels good.
It really does. And I mean, it was we had the night where Janai Broom was cramping up and did everything he could to stay in the game and to finish strong. And he tipped the ball in for the win, landed, and instantly was grimacing in pain as he watched the final heave from the opposing team. And we were still able to win. You and I talked about this, or I texted you about this. It reminded me a lot of the Yale game. In the Yale game, he mistimed his jump, wasn't able to get the tip right. This one, he definitely got it.
Bit of a saving grace for Broom, even though no one was really mad with him.
No, and that's the thing and nobody I've seen has been talking about that. The fact that this was so close and similar to the Yale finish, but this time we were able to execute because we're 1 year wiser, 1 year better, 1 year more prepared. And this team showed that they are really ready for tournaments.
Yes, absolutely. You know what the difference was between the Iowa State and Yale game was?
Please.
Chad Baker-Mazar was not ejected in the first half.
Right there.
I tweeted out earlier this maybe a week and a half ago. I tweeted out, Janai Broom is the best starter. Chad Baker-Mazar is the most important starter. And it showed in color against Iowa State.
Yeah, he too was dealing with his own issues, having a knee injury that was hampering him in the Iowa State game that he powered through. And,
plus his 4 fouls. And then he also re-aggravated his injury in the North Carolina game. But he showed up to play, man. He was ready to play. And there were a number of times when it seemed like teams were kind of targeting Chad to try to get him angry. And Chad seems to have learned and completely grown from what happened last year. Like I said, I cannot say it enough. This team is made for tournaments. They are deep enough. They are mature enough. They are experienced physical enough.
They're physical enough. We have guards.
Enough. Just everything about this team.
Everything.
I was chatting with Chad after the North Carolina and Memphis game. I told Chad, I was texting him, I was like, you got to protect your knees, bro. Is hustle your middle name? He texted me back saying, no, win is my middle name. And then after Auburn beat Memphis, I'm like, hey, just saying we're undefeated since you revealed your middle name. And then he actually gave me his real name. And then I said, this is the best team Auburn has ever put on the court. And he said, write it down, facts, bank it. And this is, in my opinion, the best team Bruce Pearl's ever had and Auburn has ever showcased, ever.
Yep. Now, that 2019 team was able to go to the Final Four, but I agree. This team looks to have everything and to be better, talented, and they play within Bruce's system. They play the way Bruce wants them to play.
They don't play selfish ball.
They don't. They really don't. and you absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. The
Absolutely.
Invitational. Go ahead.
Last year, I did say this pretty close to the same thing. Last year's team was the best, but there's two glaring differences between last year and this year. I'll give you one guess as to what the difference is.
Please go for it.
No Aiden Holloway, no selfish ball. No Aiden Holloway throwing up 7 3-pointers a game and bricking every single one of them.
Yeah. And let's be honest, Pettiford has had up and down performances, but
he looks coachable.
Yeah. He looks like he's okay taking the hard coaching that Bruce is going to give you, as well as he seems like the leader on the floor when he is on the floor. They've shown it many times in these games where Bruce is talking to him and he's the one yelling at the players the play. He's talking to him. He's relaying what he talked to Bruce about. Bruce seems to trust him a little bit more. And like you said, I think it's because he's a little bit more coachable, a little bit more approachable, and all in all, just a better player than Aiden Holloway, who, for those that don't know, we're extremely petty and wished him nothing but the best up until he started putting our coach down and saying that our coach was the problem and the reason why he transferred. I'm sorry, you go and do that, and we're going to have a problem. And you got to feel like Pettiford is just going to continue to get better and better as the year goes on. And he just absolutely he had moments in this tournament where he looked like the best player on the court. He really did.
Yes, he really.
Go ahead.
He does not have the demeanor of a freshman. He really does. He doesn't have the indecisiveness as a freshman. Like you said it perfectly. He goes out and relays what he needs to relay, exactly what coach said, how the game plan needs to go. And it's really valuable when you have two leaders like that coming off the bench in Tahad Pettiford and Chaney Johnson.
Yep. Chaney Johnson had himself a pretty good tournament as well. He had the Iowa State game. He too was in foul trouble, and so he wasn't able to impose his will. But the rest of the tournament, he was doing his thing again. And not only that, but in each of the games, we had at least 4 players in double figures. And the reason why that number is 4 is because Memphis, we actually only needed 4 players. In the other 2 games, we had 5 players in double figures. And then in the first game, the Iowa State game, the most important game, the hardest game, we had 6 players in double figures, which we needed because Iowa State was a great defensive team. They looked better than Houston, to be perfectly honest, Josh. They looked better than Houston. And
they do it better than Houston.
Had we been at Iowa State, I'm pretty sure we would have lost that game, and it would have been ugly. I don't know if we could have fought back.
It definitely would have been hard. I mean, you could also bring up the argument that if we were anywhere else, the foul trouble could have been different.
Yeah.
Chad Bickermazar getting hurt could have been different. So it's just when you're playing that factorial game, it doesn't add up because you just never know. Because we played in Maui on that court and won the damn game. That's the only thing that matters.
And I will say something that is very different is Bruce Pearl showed us this year that in games that matter, Janai Broome is going to play a lot. And Janai Broome, although he had the muscle cramps, I think he is better conditioned this year to play that many minutes. He averaged 34 minutes a game in this tournament, Josh. If you would have told me that at the beginning of the season, I would have said, okay, we're a little bit trouble.
How bad are we?
On the back court and would have been, or the front court. I would have been a little worried about that because he has never played this many minutes. I don't know what his minutes were for last year, but I would imagine they were in the mid-20s at the very most. And
probably 28, I think.
Okay. Janai Broome stepped up in this tournament. He was averaging almost a triple-double, it felt like. I mean, his average was 20 rebounds a game, it felt like. I know it's only 15, but the dude was just a man among boys and looked like the best player there. He really did.
So he averaged just under 25 minutes a game last year.
Oh, yeah. So see, that's just ridiculous. He averaged 10 minutes more a game. Janai Broome is a dog and just showed why this team really needed him to come back. And I will say, having the Twin Towers starting the game off every game was fun to see, especially in the Memphis game when Dylan Cardwell went off.
Dude, he just exploded in that game. It was
Yeah.
so fun to see. 8 for 8 from the floor.
Yeah.
Was it 9 for 9? I can't remember. Either way,
8 for 8.
the dude had himself. It was a career game, 110% for Dylan Cardwell.
His best career game, and he only had 3 rebounds. Can you believe that? Dylan Cardwell only had 3 rebounds.
Here's the even bigger shocker. He had 0 blocks in that game.
Oh, man. So,
and he was 1 for 1 from 3.
Yeah. That was huge. It was his 4th 3 in his career. So, but I think something we do need to talk about is the fact that we did go down 18 to Iowa State to start the tournament off. And is that something that you think we should be concerned about?
Not at all, because, I kind of touched on it earlier. The difference in that game was definitely Chad Baker-Mazara. When he wasn't on the court, you could definitely tell the defense was hurting.
Yeah.
The just electric scoring was hurting. And as soon as he came back, he hit 2 or 3 straight 3-pointers to get the scoring going for Auburn and mount the comeback. So, I mean, I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. The difference between Auburn losing badly and winning close is going to be Chad Baker-Mazara. He is easily the most important starter on Auburn's roster.
Yeah, no, I am starting to agree outside of Broom. Broom is still the most important starter. I know what you said earlier in the reference you made and everything, but I still think Janai Broom is the most important starter we have because of what he does to the opposing team. Everyone was worried about him. He was triple teamed at times. He was constantly double teamed as soon as he touched the ball, and he just made the right play almost every time. I think there was one time where he turned the ball over or just made a bad pass. I can't remember. But I agree with you in the sense that I don't think we do need to be worried. Had we lost the game, I would have been a little worried. Sure. But this team they're stacked full of seniors, and they fought and they never gave up. And I think it was a perfect test. That is a first round of the NCAA tournament if I've ever seen one. That is a first round
Sweet 16 game.
No, I mean in the sense that, you have to – you're just going to take the best from the opposing team. I don't know. It felt like a March Madness game. We can agree there.
Yes.
And this team bounced back, and they made it not matter, the 18-point deficit. And it leads us into our next discussion. Is this team deep enough for more tournament runs? What's your opinion on that?
I mean, by all visuals that we have, from all everything we've seen from them this season, I mean, it's a resounding yes. We have players in every position on every level of the depth chart that can come in and either play defense or score or do both. Every single position has the ability. The only person that I'm really concerned about right now, 7 games in the season, would be JP Pegues. He is concerning the living hell out of me because, he was a scorer at Furman, and now it just doesn't seem like he wants to even attempt to throw up a shot. Against Memphis, he had 3 or 4 3-point attempts and had one of them fall. But before that, he played 2 games and didn't have a single shot attempt. Yeah. You can't have that from a starting point guard.
No, I agree. And he looks like a weaker Denver Jones from last year.
Yes.
Denver Jones showed the same mentality of he wasn't really sure where he fit in this offense and couldn't quite find his position. But on the defensive side, he played so well that they were able to keep him out there. Pegues has not been able to play defensively and keep up with some of these other teams that have great guards. And so he's got to figure it out because we need his scoring. If there's going to come a game where we're going to need him to go off.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think in Bruce Pearl's system, point guard is the position for him. I think the starting lineup should be switched to Denver Jones as the point and Miles Kelly as the 2, with Chad, Dylan, and Janai rounding it out. And then off the bench, it's got to be Pettiford, then Pegues, and so on and so forth. And so, I mean, there's things that I'm sure Bruce is going to fiddle with when it comes to rotations. Yeah. I also think it's kind of crazy that for the most part, Auburn has yet to play a complete game, and Bruce is still messing with the rotations. No game has had the same starting 5 all season. I don't believe.
That's true. I think this tournament had a lot of the same starting five. I'm pretty sure it did, and I'm
Maybe
pretty
it did.
sure.
Either way, he's still messing with the rotations.
And the closest to a
Crazy to
complete
me.
game, has to be the Houston game.
Yes, I would say so because we were
Which
never
is
down.
encouraging.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is, especially when you're going against a high caliber team like Houston.
Yeah.
I would agree that was one of our more complete games. We were never down maybe more than a few points to Houston.
Yeah.
Actually, did Houston have the lead other than late in the game?
They had a couple of moments where I think they were up by 4 or 5. But
Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, that game definitely was what Auburn can and should be for the rest of the season.
Right.
Yeah, I would definitely say this team is built for March Madness, 110%.
Yeah. I said it in our preview episode where we talked about this team. This team was made for the tournament. I said that they can win the national title. I called it in that episode because this team has so many seniors and they have so many good depth pieces as well. And I agree. But you know what we are going to find out? We're going to find out how good this team can be because we got some upcoming games that are going to be out of this world. First up, though, is going to be against the Duke Blue Devils. And not just against the Duke Blue Devils, but at Cameron Indoor Arena. Josh, this Duke team is 5-2, but everything looks like they're a pretty damn good team.
Yeah, they are a good team. They did lose to Kentucky and Kansas, but those are still two really
Kansas is
good
the number one
teams.
team in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kentucky's really good. They're top
Yeah.
3 team in the SEC, I believe.
Yeah.
And if those are the only 2 teams you lost to, I mean, you can't. That's nothing to shake a stick at. But I'm hoping Auburn can, go into Cameron Arena and turn the Cameron Crazies into Cameron Crazy psych ward patients.
Yeah.
I want them to be hurting.
Yeah. Defensively, it looks like that's where this team really shines, holding their opponents to 58.6 points a game and keeping their shooting percentage down to 35.2. So I'm a little worried there. If we go cold in the game, we're really going to have, I think, a hard time. Duke doesn't have a great scorer. Now, they have the number one freshman in the country in Cooper Flagg, who right now is over averaging almost 16 points a game. But really, outside of that, that's all he brings to the table. It feels like, and he's not even that good of a 3-point shooter, but he is a good player, and he's going to give us problems at times. But you got to feel like our seniors are going to be the difference in this game. I don't know what your prediction is on this game, but Duke is starting 2 freshmen, and one of those freshmen is going to be playing. I just, man, both of those freshmen are going to be playing against very well seasoned players, and we're going to see what this Duke team is made of, as well as what this Auburn team is made of. Cameron Indoor Arena is not an easy location to play, and if we can come out of there with a win, it should be a fantastic start to the season.
Man, I'm hoping so. And their opponents' points per games, it's kind of really inflated by the lesser opponents they've played all season. When they're playing teams that actually have a friggin' pulse, minus Arizona, they're allowing 72 points a game or 76 points a game from the opposers, and they lost both of those games. So I mean, I get a good feeling. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to book too hard. But Auburn definitely has a resume that should make these players shake in their boots, especially Cooper Flagg. He's only scoring 26% of the time from behind the 3-point line. He is a guard, 6'9" guard, which should be illegal. But if they're gonna, I think the only option there is to put Chad Baker Mazzara or Chaney Johnson on Cooper Flagg. I mean, 2 really, really good defenders, 2 really, really good rebounders, and someone that can create their own shots, both of them. And I don't think you can trust Miles Kelly or Denver Jones to guard Flagg.
I think Miles Kelly is sneaky good at defending. He does good recovery, but he's not great. I agree. He's not one of our best defenders. I think it's got to be Denver Jones and Chad Baker-Mazara on Cooper Flag. But at the same time, we also got to watch out for Tyrese Proctor. He's a junior in the system. He's shooting 47% from behind the three. Now, he is averaging less than 13 points a game, but he could go off. And if we put too much emphasis on stopping the two freshmen, which those are the two leading scorers, I think Tyrese Proctor could go off and could have a good game. But Josh, let's get your prediction here. Are you booging or are you being practical? We have to lose at some point, don't we?
I don't think it's. I mean, if you're going to lose, I think it would be to Duke inside of Cameron.
Yep.
But with the way this team is gelling and the way that Duke looked against Kansas, with Kansas losing their best player in the second half, I'm going to give Auburn like a 4-point advantage. I think that would give Auburn 4 points.
Wow. Okay. So you're calling the Auburn win? Well, I'm going to say it like this, Josh. Until this team proves me otherwise. I've said it the other way in football. Until that team could prove to me that they were going to win back-to-back games, I wasn't going to believe it, wasn't going to see it. This team, until they prove to me that they cannot perform and cannot win games, then I'm going to predict them to win, because this Blue Devils team is a gettable team. They don't have a go-to guy that is going to fill it up offensively, it feels like. So if Janai Broome can get going, which he may have a monster game, we may see another 30 points from Janai Broome in this game, because I don't think they have anybody that can stop them. So I, too, am saying that Auburn is going to walk away with the win, and that would just be one of the most miraculous starts to a season.
What's your margin?
Our margin? Man, I don't know. Here, fill in some time. Let me look at the over.
Because I do agree with other podcasters. They say Cameron will give a 5 to 6 point just advantage to Duke, no matter what, inside of Cameron. But at the same time, when you're playing a team as good defensively as Auburn and as good offensively as Auburn, you got to imagine that 5 to 6 points gets cut in at least half. That's my assumption, because this Auburn defense, they got down a couple times this season, but at the same time, they caught back up easily and came out with a victory.
Yeah, they did. They did. Let's see here. Man, the line right now is, let's see here, trends. Well, this is just terrible. They're not even giving us a line here. Sorry, this is dead air. Man, they are giving Duke, ESPN is giving Duke a 65.9% chance of winning this game.
Those are fans. That's not ESPN.
That's according to ESPN analytics is what it says.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, man, you said it. It's at Duke. This may be a 2-point game. It may be a 2-point game.
It's going to be good, man.
I can't find the line on this yet, but you got to think that it's going to be a 2-point game. Cameron Indoor Arena is going to be tough to win at, but I think we can do it. So moving right along, Josh, the next game after that is against the Richmond, I'm guessing, Spiders. I don't know. Is that are they the Spiders?
I do not hecking know. I could not tell you. Their logo is a spider, but
right. Yeah, that's all I know.
I don't know what the hell they are. They're probably the Richmond, pigs. I don't know. Yeah, the Richmond Spiders.
Okay. All right. Well, the thing is this is a team that's not too bad. They're 4-4. They have a couple of seniors. They have a player in Delani Hunt who is right now averaging what was his points average? He's averaging
20 points a game.
game, and he is shooting over 50% from the field. Over 50%, Josh. And
But that's good. It's only by 0.5%, but the team is also only shooting 42.5% from the field and 29.1% from three. So, I mean,
which means that outside of him and Mikhail Tyne or whatever his name is, their shooting percentages is just terrible. Okay, but outside of those two guys, they are bringing their shooting average up. And so they're not shooting from behind the arc. And if you're going to beat Auburn this year, that's probably how you're going to have to do it, from behind the arc. And so I don't think this game is going to be anything to be worried about. This should be
this could be close to the Vermont score, to be honest with you.
It really could. It really, really could. So, Josh, this team is starting hot, winning the Maui Invitational. No, we didn't get to play UConn, unfortunately, but all in all,
they looked overrated anyways. That would have been a worthless victory.
And Dan Hurley getting the tech
because he couldn't hold his mouth.
Yeah,
friggin' loser. What kind of coach puts his team in jeopardy like that?
Quite a few coaches, Josh. Quite a few coaches.
Bunch of losers.
Bruce Pearl almost had a tech. He almost got a tech. I can't remember what game it was, but he almost had one.
Pretty sure it was
in
Iowa State.
Yeah, I think it was.
And then they gave it to Stephen Pearl. But they shouldn't even assess the tech anyways, because Stephen was yelling at Tahad, not the ref.
Yeah. Well, no, these are two separate situations that I'm talking about. The Stephen Pearl tech, that was stupid because he was not talking to the ref, and so I don't know why he got the tech. But there was another moment where it looked like Bruce was about to have a meltdown. But all in all, Josh, we're 7-0. We have 2 games this week. We're playing at Cameron Indoor Arena on National Signing Day, so that way, hopefully, it's a good day all around for Auburn.
Talking about stealing some thunder from the biggest matchup of the day. National Signing Day is going to take up most of the Auburn fans' attention. I'll be honest with you, it's going to take away a lot of my attention.
I agree. But by the time the basketball game comes on, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be locked and loaded, and I am going to be tuning in to watch this team hopefully dominate Duke. That would just. I will be at
work neglecting my work duties, watching the game.
Well, and on that shocker, Josh, War Eagle, man.
War Eagle.
Johnson goes to deny. Step back. Big three. It's got you here. Jones doesn't go the tip by Broom.